and welcome to episode 90. It's going to be fairly short today because what we've got under test are two modest price condensers. They're really popular amongst the recording brigade when they first start out. So one is the Focusrite Scarlett studio mic. It's the CM25 and it's the Mark III version, which is the latest one. And we've put it up against an SE Electronics, the X1. Both of these get good press. They're on internet forums as being decent mics. They seem to be sort of doing a fairly good job, so I thought we'll stick them under test and see what they do. So let's cut from the SM7B that we're using at the moment, our comparison mic, straight across to the Scarlett Studio. So what is it? Well, it's a fairly simple mic. There are no user controls on it whatsoever. You plug it in, give it some phantom power and it works. The actual condenser element inside is an electret. It's 20mm across, so it's not the smallest condenser mic in terms of capsule size, but 20mm is not really big enough, I suppose, to call it a large diaphragm condenser, but equally it's bigger than a small, so it sort of sits in this halfway house. On paper, the spec is pretty good. It's got a decent frequency response, it's quite flat, there's a bit of a peak, and you can obviously hear that in my voice talking into it now. We're going to compare it with the SE X1, which is a much weirder shaped microphone. It isn't a tube, it's got lots of angles, it's got lots of cone sections, you can see through the grill and you can actually see inside a much larger 32mm capsule. Now the 32mm capsule means, yes, this is a large diaphragm, and the grill itself is fine enough that you can actually see through the grill and see clearly the capsule mounted on its little sort of conical support. It's a really well made chunky microphone. It does have controls, so you've got a 10 dB pad, so if you're sticking it on something louder you can pad it down by 10 dB, and it's also got a bass roll off. And all in all, both these mics actually are really good for newcomers who haven't got a huge amount of money to spend on microphones and don't really want to waste it. Both of them obviously cardioids, both of them do a very similar job. They've got tonal differences between the two and you'll either like one and love the other or vice versa. It's very much a personal preference. But I quite like these SE mics. I don't use them very often, but the SE X1 always seemed to me to be a sort of useful mic that you could use on practically anything. So, two mics pretty much aimed at the same sort of target area. What would you spend your money on? Well, you can pick up a second-hand Scarlett. They often come up on eBay for about £45 or so you can actually get one of those for not a huge amount of money. The SEs don't appear second-hand quite so often, but they're only in their £80, sort of 80, 85, that sort of figure, brand new. So if you see one of those still on sale, grab it and it's a perfectly decent mic. And that's about it for today, folks. So I'll see you on the next video. Look after yourselves. Take care. See you later.